What if I told you that everything we thought we knew about the Gnostic chorus was warped in its own twisted way? That first and second era and the kingdom among the heavens were not what we thought. That kingdom of darkness is not evil as it sounds. Hey, what if I say Celestia is not as black and white as good or evil? Most of you would think I'm going crazy, right? Well, you're not entirely wrong, but there is a reason for my madness. After Nahida said, information in this world can be stored in allegorical formats without being affected by the changes in the Irminsul tree, it opened up even more possibilities for this world. So, keep your ears peeled, cause this what if scenario I said might come true someday. When Scaramouche erased himself from the Irminsul tree, he essentially wiped himself out of existence, like Rukadeva. But Nahida kept a backup of his story in a form of a children's story. Books change and most in-game items change, but none of the information told indirectly changed, like the husk of opulent dreams said, which should have been completely wiped out with the dude. But it still exists because it never called Scaramouche by any of his names. If fairy tales are used as allegories, the next best medium is poems and songs, which are infamous in stuff like English literature. Even if the author wants to describe a fart, people would interpret it as some kind of over-the-top philosophical BS. The Gnostic chorus is told by Venti, the most sus person in the entire game. And what does he do? Sing songs from way back in the day, like fairy tales. Take Divalan's and Durin's story poem he told at the beginning of the game. Not a single name of the characters were mentioned. Divalan was called Sky Dragon, Durin was called Wild Dragon, and even dared to disguise himself as the Windborn Bird instead of Anemo Archon. It's like if you know the story, you know it, but if you don't know it, it's just another random fairy tale. He knew how to store information without being tampered with even before Nahida, the god of wisdom. No wonder his catchphrase poem is seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time. So, who exactly are the first and second eras? With the recent mainline story, we learned about Descenders, 4 entities that entered the Genshin world from the outer universe. Well, we know the entity called Heavenly Principles is the first Descender and most likely Phanes or Primordial one. Then, Goddess of Flowers mentions how invaders brought forbidden knowledge and filth from the outer universe, who is most likely the second who came. Third is speculative at best, and fourth is us. So, what if the first and the fourth descenders, whom we have clear information about, are the first and the second heirs? According to Orphic cosmology, Aether and Phanes are both children of Kronos. This means, even in Genshin world, both Aether and Lumin as one and Phanes should have come from the same place. That one place has to be the glorious kingdom among the heavens. Now, when I say Aether and Lumin as one, I mean the CZG thing. It's this thing where two opposite pairs fuse together. It's also a thing with Gnosticism. Venti should know about this story because he has shown that he knows about real primordial beings from our world. In the manga, at the end of the chapter 0, he sings a poem about Tengu, the creator god of Chinese mythology, Purusha from Hindu mythos, and Ymir from Norse myths. So, knowing about creation myths of Gnostic and Greek is justified. In Honkai, there is a place called Avalon. It resembles this so-called kingdom in Gnostic chorus to a sus degree. I don't know much about Hokkaido, but they say it's a separate bubble universe in the Sea of Konta. In layman's term, it means a small duplicate universe in the multiverse, I guess. So basically, the kingdom among the heavens is the true heaven in Hoyoverse. This is the place where the two heirs might have come from, and Celestia is just a replica of that. But the second who came and third descender didn't come from this same place. At least they were not sent by the heavens. In my theory on the Tree of Life, I talk about how Phanes and Nyx are the Greek representation of light and dark. And because of that, they might have been originally the same person. And this entity was Sophia, the final aeon of Gnosticism, who split herself into two to create Demiurge. It's just like the theory about twins' original form is both of them combined together. I mean, Look at these two side by side. Their color palettes are somewhat similar. Besides having the opposite accent colors, both are wearing mostly white dresses and black hints mixed to represent the yang side of yin and yang pair. Then we have the golden bits here and there. Just give me a break. I don't know what these are called. Also, all three of them have these elongated diamond shapes around or on them. What else do you need to see that they are related somehow? This is how my what if scenario goes. It might go into more speculation territory than a theory, but it will make sense. The first era, or Phanes, came down to the Genshin world for a specific reason. But due to some unknown circumstances, they had to remain here, and the heavens had to send the second era, or twins, down to complete Phanes' job. But what is that job given to the first era exactly? Well, we can't be sure, but the Gnostic story says she was tasked with retrieving the Genesis Pearl. So, was Phanes tasked with retrieving the Genesis Pearl? I don't think so. The cutscene shows a snake coiling around the Genesis Pearl, but in actuality, that pearl could very well be an egg. Snakes swallow bird eggs as food source, but at some times accidentally gulp down a stone that might have been shaped like an egg. And with time, that stone gets polished inside the snake's belly and become what people call a snake pearl, similar to a clam pearl. So in our case, the pearl is not actually a pearl, but an egg stolen from a really, really big bird. Or to be more precise, Phanes, or some other being's offspring. This makes sense when you realize that according to Before Sun and Moon book, Phanes also came from an egg and had wings. And dragons or bishops who rule this world when Phanes came are more reptiles and snakes. There's a specific bird called the short-toed snake eagle, whose diet consists of mainly reptiles and snakes. And there is a multitude of snakes that eat bird eggs. So it's a common rivalry even in the real animal world. Not to mention, multiple mythologies revolve around birds and snake rivalry. So, Phanes wiping out the entire bishop race is perfectly justified in the eyes of a mother who lost her child to a snake. That child could very well be Paimon, but don't dwell too much on it. It will become weird. But she does have similar patterns to Lumin and Celestia. The white dress, black collar and hairpin, gold thingies, and elongated diamond shape. But she does have different eye colors. So either this primordial egg was left in this Genshin world for it to nurture even before Phanes came down, Marvel Celestia style, and now Phanes was sent down by the heavens to collect the mature new primordial being. Or the dragon stole the egg that belonged to Phanes and kept it to blackmail Phanes. The part I can't explain with this theory is where the first era was deceived and how she lost her original god. There is very little information about this, and even fewer people talk about this specific topic. The deceiving part could be exaggerated for confidentiality and storytelling purposes. I mean, this thing was told by Venti, and it could be that Phanes just fell in love with their own creation, so they decided to take residence here. They created landscapes, animals, and humans, and then went on to even give them treasures and seals to guide them. That doesn't sound very malicious to me. The funny thing is, you would think Seals were told to not let humans advance, right? That was not the case. Seals essentially took whatever shape humans most needed and taught them anything. Only after Second Who came, invaded, and the ancestor Sealy married a human, were the Seals actually punished. Well, that is just one possibility. After finishing off the dragons and separating Tevat from the rest of the world, Second Who came, invaded. This might have been the place where the deceiving part happened. Cause the knowledge Second Who came brought gave humans delusion about going beyond this world. And Phanes started to fear that. This false knowledge that scared Phanes could be how they were deceived into being more protective while allegedly killing Second Who came and cleansing the world with Celestia pillars. But doing so put themselves into a wounded state and out of commission. Now they can't continue their original mission or return to the heavens. Speaking of Celestia, it looks similar to the kingdom amongst the heavens. So it might have been a creation of Phanes to replicate their home. You know how Raiden Shogun says,
"Only through eternity are you closest to the heavenly principles."
What if Ace dealing with Raiden Shogun is a foreshadowing of what actually happened in Celestia. When A went into her plane of euthymia, she set Raiden Shogun Puppet according to a set of rules, mainly to follow eternity at any cost, even if that person going against eternity is A herself. She's like an advanced AI. But because of these set rules, Fatui managed to take advantage of the situation and created a civil war inside Inazuma using the Vision Hunt decree. If A's story mirrors the story of Heavenly Principles and Celestia to some extent, that means Celestia is run by absolutely no one. It's an algorithm built by the Primordial One as a defense mechanism against the forbidden knowledge corruption. Everything from handing out visions to selecting allergens to ascend is managed automatically by the celestial algorithm housed inside the building that resembles the kingdom among the heavens, while Primordial One rests from their past wounds. That might be why Archons are not responsible for giving out visions. Instead, the Archons can guide the person in that direction so they can get it. Then again, when Vanessa stepped into Celestia, she was greeted by absolutely nothing. I'm pretty sure if you ascend to heaven, some angel will welcome you, right? So Celestia has to be run by an AI, not in the robotic sense, but much more magical like Getia from Fate Grand Order. Now, just like how Fatui exploited the artificial part of the Shogun, they are using that to play out their plans against Celestia. At this point, it becomes a question of whether you hold an outdated AI accountable for doing what it was programmed to do with mainly a positive intent. It's prioritizing the preservation of the world and humanity instead of humans themselves. Shogun was never programmed to hurt the people of Inazuma. But being a program that lacks the capability of empathy and only knowing how to follow a set of rules, it was exploited into doing what it was not meant to. So think to yourself, are the celestial beings who shaped the very land you step on and made the variety of characters you interact with in Teyvat as black and white as people make them sound? Or are they as misunderstood as some of the prominent characters who died meaninglessly are? As far as I know, Foivus loves to make you sympathize with the antagonist, even if they are clear-cut evil. In the end, the question remains, did we also forget our original task while traveling through many worlds for eons looking for our lost relative? Hey guys, hope everyone's having a great 2023 so far. And yeah, this might be the first of a series I might do on the multitude of what-if scenarios I have come up with over the past years. Well, anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hitting that like button would be much appreciated. And leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, we are getting closer and closer to hitting 1K. Watch these videos in the meantime. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, let your imaginations run wild.